And here we go on this Monday. I believe it's the 19th day of September 2022, 6 o'clock straight up. You're in the midst of Real Talk Memphis. Good to have you all with us on WYXR 91.7 on your FM dial. It's hot. It's all that's my beginning salvo. It's hot. When I drove in here, the real temperature was 96. The heat index is 101. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, of what is going to be a blistering 3 or 4 days before things start to cool down just a little bit on the first day of fall, which is Thursday, by the way. It sure won't feel like it. Temperatures will be probably 100 degrees and up the next 3 days. Before things cool down. No rain in the forecast, but I think we'll see temperatures mid-80s somewhere, maybe on Friday, heading into the weekend. So, yeah, there's something to look forward to, but right now it's just hot. So the hot weather rules apply, ladies and gentlemen. Drink plenty of fluids, and, if you don't have to be out in this intense heat, why go out and hang out, right? Just kind of keep yourself safe, check on your pets, check on the elderly, make sure everybody is doing okay. Speaking of, how's everybody doing this week? It's Monday. It's the beginning of a brand new week. I pray that you had a nice weekend, because it was a nice weekend weather-wise out there. I hope you had a chance to enjoy yourself, and I hope your Monday wasn't too bad as well. So we're going to have a pretty good show tonight. I'm always semi nervous about this show, just to make sure that everything goes well for each and every one of you out there who might be listening to the broadcast. And speaking of, for those of you who are interested in figuring out or finding out how you get this fine piece of radio broadcasting, a number of ways. Of course, we talked about 91.7 on your FM dial, which is live and local right now. You can also catch us on the WYXR app. We are on the TuneIn app. These are all live components. Facebook Live, we're on that tonight as well, Facebook Live. And we'll be posting a bit later on to YouTube. And, of course, as we are a podcast, when they post the show tomorrow, you can get it wherever you get your podcast. So now that we're clear on that, we're all, on one accord, all minds and hearts agree, or all hearts and minds agree, or however that goes. Anyway, as I said, we have a pretty good show for you tonight on its face. County Commissioner District 10, Britney Thornton, will be our guest later on in the show, second half hour of the show. And she's going to be talking to us. She's newly elected. And, of course, I believe she is actually the youngest member of the current county commission as is set up. So we'll talk to her about why she decided to run and what she is looking forward to as this process moves along. We should also be speaking with Pursuit of God Church Pastor Ricky Floyd. Will be joining us. He should be joining us in a few minutes. Fingers crossed there. He's also a community activist, very big in the Fraser community, and doing everything he can to try to help, make life better for those folks in that particular part of town. And we are going to focus on Hispanic Heritage Week. This Hispanic Heritage Week started a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, as a matter of fact. Goes through October, and we're going to have my friend Talia Palacio is going to join me a little bit later on. And, of course, she also hosts a radio show here at WYXR as well. So there's a lot going on tonight. We hope to have a very good show. And, of course, very happy to have you with us this evening. So, by the way, if you are celebrating a birthday, or you recently celebrated one, or you have one coming up this week, this part of the program is for you, because nobody does shout-outs, birthday shout-outs, anywhere in the city better than we do right here at Real Talk Memphis. We always like to celebrate another trip around the sun, and we have a big list, so let's get to it. But I have to say, hit it, Lola. Happy birthday! Yep, a lot of folks tonight. A lot of folks who are celebrating birthdays. Let's get to it, shall we? Happy birthday is going out to Rosalind Withers. She's celebrating today. Rhonda Warner is celebrating her birthday as well today. Let's see here. Kenneth Vincent, happy birthday to you. Teresa Blackman celebrating. Reggie Johnson, happy birthday to you. Daryl Mickens, happy birthday. Nikki Taylor, Mr. Marshall, Demetrius Mays Graham celebrating today. Pamela James, it's your birthday. David Morgan, happy birthday to you. And Shirley Pickens celebrating. Happy birthday to each and every one of you. Also, my niece had a birthday yesterday. Her name is Erica Ransom, and she's living out there in Northern California. Very happy special birthday to my niece, Erica Ransom in California. And to each and every one of you, happy birthday. I hope it was a great day for you, and I hope, if the Lord says so, we will be back here again next year to celebrate your trip around the sun. Thank you, Lola. So, few news and notes to get into. By the way, Makita's Cookies. They reopened this Saturday, this past weekend, after being closed since the shooting death of young Dolph last year. They decided to open up that location on Airways where that happened. At the end of the day, business is business. And, I think that, even young Dolph would want them to move forward in the process. It is, as I said, a business. And so a lot of people have been, urging them to reopen again. And they did this past Saturday. So you can, and they'll have some tributes internally inside the store for young Dolph. That was his spot when he was in town, no doubt. So glad to know that they are open once again. Before I forget about it, I was reading an article this afternoon. 16 Starbucks stores are closed in various parts of the United States. Now, someone said to me, now, do you think that this has anything to do with, a lot of these employees wanting to, get unionized and the whole 9 yards? Actually, according to the corporate company, they say it's because of violence. Increasing violence in many of the stores. I mean, from Los Angeles, California to Seattle, Washington. They're closing stores in New York City. Now, if you know Starbucks, they have thousands of stores all across the country. So, I think in the collective whole, 18 stores is a microburst to them. But what's troubling is if we are to believe the headlines, that this is because of violence and because the employees don't feel safe. The locations, aren't safe anymore because they've had acts of random violence. So none of us want that. So we want everybody to be safe. So we'll see how all that breaks down as time moves along. Maybe several of you might have read about FedEx. FedEx in this last quarter, their numbers were way down in terms of revenues. So they are putting a hold on hiring. It depends, and they're closing some stores, several stores, around the country. Last I read, Memphis was not going to be directly affected by this, but keep your eyes open because when revenues are down, companies start that gets their attention and they start making some serious changes out there as to how they do what they do and until things sort of level out. All right, the Shelby County Clerk's office is closed this week. I'm sure that many of you who decided to go out there today to check on your tags and your licenses found that out. She announced it a while back, but apparently there are folks that went out there who don't really listen to the news or pay much attention, who tried to get in line and were met with a note at the door that says, "Stop, we are closed this week to catch up on the backlog. The doors are locked." They are trying to clean things up, so they say, so they can reopen again next Monday. So again, if you're within the sound of my voice and you did not know, the Shelby County Clerk's office is closed again for the entire week. Okay? All right, good. And speaking of that, this whole Shelby County Clerk issue, apparently Mayor Harris has weighed in, and he wants more of an accounting because he says that people are calling his office complaining about the fact that they still have not gotten their information, that the clerk's office is closed. The same story we have heard for a while. He is basically saying that he wants oversight. He wants people in there checking on them to see daily to see what kind of progress they're making in terms of all of this. I'm pretty sure it's just a thought. I'm pretty sure that Clerk Wanda Halbert will not be happy with this insertion that the mayor's office is trying to interject in this whole process. They've been going at it for a while, not particularly good friends. But he has kind of made it publicly clear that he doesn't like this, and he's going to step in to see if they're doing everything they can to help the general public in this process. So let's move forward ahead, shall we? Let's take a glimpse at 2023. And, of course, we will be electing a new city mayor in 2023. And names are popping up all over the place, of course. And we have two absolutes, which are Van Turner, former county commissioner, and oh my gosh, I forgot his name off the top of my head. But he's over the Memphis commission downtown there. If you guys can remember, shoot me a note here on Facebook Live. But there are two announced candidates. Shelby County School Board President Michelle McKissick is exploring a run. She is taking a look at the landscape. You know how when they say exploring a run, they're announcing their intentions, but they're not formally announcing. So in all fairness to this, an exploratory committee is what she is forming. But, she sounded like a politician already, saying that, the mothers are tired and people are looking for another direction, and we need to shift the parameters and shift everything around. And so be expecting a formal announcement from her sooner rather than later. And let's see, there were some names bandied about in the paper today. Pastor Keith Norman is one of those folks who may or may not decide to run. Current Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner is toying with the possibilities of it. He has not said he would. He did say that he would make an announcement one way or another in the next month. So yeah, things are starting to heat up, and folks are starting to at least put their names out there for folks to maybe think about and consider. The water situation in Jackson, Mississippi has been rectified for the time being. The boil water notice has been lifted. Thank God. They went through that for almost a month and a half, and now they are in good shape. I've been meaning to do this last story for a couple of weeks now, from the Who Would Have Thought It file. Los Angeles, now what do you call them? Exotic? What is exotic dancers, right? Exotic dancers are trying to form a union. They're trying to form a union. I wanted to, I have two ladies in here, so I need to be politically correct when I say things like this. That's why I ask those questions. They are trying to become the only unionized exotic dancers in the entire country. And of course, they had a big protest. They had a big demonstration over the weekend. This is one of the places in North Hollywood out there in California, of course. One of the dive bars in North Hollywood are trying to get the backing of a national union. And they're getting closer, by the way, because they're starting to get some attention out there. So I'm not going to ask you what you think about that, but the exotic dancers are looking to unionize because you know what, they have rights too, and they want to make sure that they're the Lola's all like with the Nicole back here, they're all with the hands raised and everything like this. So I'm done with that. Okay, that's a look at news and notes on this on Monday. When we come back, we are going to get things started with my friend Pastor Ricky Floyd. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. You know who you are. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
you a fan of the sound? Be sure to block your calendar for December 3rd when we'll be throwing WYXR's inaugural music festival. From the airwaves to the stage, Raised by Sound Fest is a free day-long event showcasing local and regional talent. Come out to enjoy free live performances from 1 to 7 p.m. at Crosstown Brewing Company and the Crosstown Central Atrium, along with a day full of DJ sets from your favorite WYXR DJs. At night, stick around for ticketed events in Crosstown Theater and at the Green Room at Crosstown Arts from 7 to 11 p.m. We'll be announcing the full lineup soon, so stay tuned. If you want to be the first to know all the details, sign up for email updates at raisedbysoundfest.com.
Art Walk is returning to the V&E Green Line on Saturday, October 8th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Station House on the corner of Avalon and Tutwiler near Crosstown. Enjoy a local artist market, craft, beer, food, music, and more. All proceeds support the V&E Green Line. More at vegreenline.org. WYXR is supported by Onstage at the Halloran Center, presenting Tequila Rock Revolution on October 1st. Tequila Rock Revolution is a metal-fueled spectacle of sound and sight, paying homage to the tradition of mariachi. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Your boy Chip with you. Very happy to have you along for the ride. And always glad when my first guest drops in because when he leaves us, he always leaves us with some knowledge. He is the pastor of Pursuit of God Church, and he is a community legend. Now, I don't use those terms lightly, but I know that he has been on the streets. He's snickering at me right now, but he's been in the battle out there, especially in Fraser. Now, look, I'm trying to set you up good, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Pastor Ricky Floyd. Good afternoon, good evening, sir. How are you?
Chip, I'm grateful, man, to be here. And legend is a strong word. I'm a community activist.
Well, you are that.
It's a strong word.
Yeah,
but I appreciate, man, the respect and honor that you have consistently shown me, and you using your gifts, talents, influence to make the voices of people known in the community.
Well, thank you for that. But no, you're absolutely deserving of the title. But nonetheless, very happy to have you back on the show. And you know, we've been trying to connect up a little bit here recently, and I really needed to get your take on some of the recent events that we have all seen and all felt and are still trying to recover from in terms of the escalation of violence. And as you look over the landscape as a shepherd of your church and a community activist, what goes through your mind?
Man, we got problems. And we are ignoring the answers. And one of the things that's disturbing to me is that we deal with fruit matters and not root matters. And so we just talk about the fruit that we see today, but not the roots, the bitter roots, the rotten roots that have created the rotten fruit that we see today, man. And that's what's more disturbing to me than the crimes that we see, because the crimes are only going to manifest if we don't deal with the root issues.
Okay, that was very well put. So let's break it down. Talk about what you see as the real problem and maybe the real cause of some of what we're seeing today. Man,
the real problems is we got daddy issues.
Okay.
We got the problem of fatherlessness. And, man, about almost 30 years ago, I woke up one morning and it was Father's Day. It was my first day of marriage. And I realized that I was a father and a husband. And man, I didn't have a clue on how to do either one of them. Mm-hmm. And those are two of the most important jobs that a man will ever have, is a father and a husband. And most of us are not only are we not trained how to be either of them, we're in a society now where men don't want to be either of them. They don't want to be a father and they don't want to be a husband. The Bible says, until the father's hearts turn back toward the children and the children's heart turns back to father, the land is going to be damned. It's going to be cursed. And that's what we've got to do, man. We've got to grab. It amazes me how people will condemn, criticize, and complain about the state that our boys in, but nobody's confirming, nobody's affirming, nobody's completing. And we have a society now, Chip, where grown men are competing with their sons for jobs, for girls, for prestige, for sales and those type of things right there. And we've got a dysfunctional society. And I'm long with it, but let me say this. As a pastor, people may think I'm crazy for saying this, but when we killed R&B music, we killed our community, man.
Okay, well. Having said that,
I know I did about 13 things. But you asked, man.
That's all right. That's exactly right. And I was listening intently to what you were saying as well. So, clearly, you feel like fathers, are not living up to what a father should be. But I think when you made the last reference to the music, you're talking about what we are listening to, or what the young people are listening to today, the type of rap and the type of really detrimental music. Is that what you're speaking about?
Man, I have tonight, I told you, that's why thank you for allowing me to come first. I will have about 40 children tonight in a mentoring program with the ages range from 8 years old up to 17 years old. Okay. Last week, I asked this question, Chip. I said, can anyone tell me a love song that's out right now? You could hear crickets in the room. There are no love songs. Our songs are about drugs. The most popular songs about drugs, about sex, about robbing, about killing, about selling dope, and it's programming. The average child hears their favorite song 16 times a day. And so if you hear Molly Percocet 10 times a day, then when Molly Percocets come into your life, it's not a foreign object to you. You've been listening to that for 6 months, Molly 16 times a day, then it's not a strong temptation to resist that, because it's the norm. It's a lifestyle for you.
So the group that you mentioned that you are going to be mentoring shortly is a very critical group, a very critical population. What are you going to say to them? How do you get through to children this impressionable and young adults?
90% of these children that I'll talk to tonight don't have a biological father in the home. We give these children every Monday night, we give them all 5 love languages. I don't know if you're familiar with the book 5 Love Languages. We give them words of affirmation. We give them quality time. We give them gifts. We give them touch, and we give them acts of service. Chip, what I've discovered, sometimes it's not so much as what you say, is will you take the time to listening to me?
There you go.
The average father only talks to his child in a normal house 15 minutes a day, and most of those times, did you clean up? Did you do your homework? We give these children a voice, an opportunity to be heard, to express their feelings, whether we agree with them or not.
Is that one of the biggest, because I've always heard that. My mother used to tell me all the time, Chip, shut your mouth and open your ears. You need to listen so you can understand. And I hear over and over again from community activists like yourself and a lot of politicians and other folks that we don't listen to our children. We need to embrace them, show them love like you're doing, but we also really need to sit down and talk to them and find out what is on their mind, what are they thinking, and what direction they might be going in.
Man, until they think that you care enough to listen about them. Even when you go to the doctor, Chip, the doctor, man, sits down and asks you questions about you, questions about your pain, questions about your generational issues before he starts cutting on you. And many times we've got, especially in ministry, the church is real bad at it. We've got our cookie cutter scriptures. The police have got their cookie cutter methods. The psychologists have got that. Well, the psychologists do a greater job at listening, but if we don't listen to a person, I've been a salesman all my life, and I told people I've been a successful salesman, not because I'm a good talker, because I'm a good listener. If you listen to people, they will tell you what they need to, if you're a good listener, to be a part of their healing process.
That is a very important component. Speaking with good friend Pastor Ricky Floyd from the Pursuit of God Church, and he is a community advocate and activist, rather, and a long-time fighter of getting these streets right. You and Charlie Caswell are two guys that automatically come to mind when I think of Frazier. And in terms of the landscape and in terms of what we need to do and how we need to do it out here, you were part of an event this past Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can almost say that this event was birthed out of a meeting that Charlie Caswell and I had probably 15, maybe 18 years ago. Charlie Caswell, who's a politician now, and I, who am a pastor now, we would argue because he would say politics was the answer, and I would say God and religion is the answer. And we came up what we call the 7 Ps, that the only way that a community is going to be transformed is you got to get the pastors, the politicians, the policemen, the proprietors, the principals, the parents, and the proprietors to all have one mind, one faith, one baptism.
Okay.
And one of the reasons that you see so much transformation in Frazier is because we've been able to galvanize these groups together, find out what their convictions, what their passions are, and what we all want to see in our community. So that's why you see Charlie Caswell and I working together so much.
Yeah, and I think that, of course, recent events have predicated a lot of groups and organizations, law enforcement, legal authority, and a lot of the religious community getting together, and having these pressers about how we need to do, what we need to do. And I've always been a proponent of the fact that, especially from the religious community, churches outside the 4 walls, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but I mean, that is a pervasive message that, I mean, it's not the church is just not what's inside the sanctuary, it's in the streets.
Man, if your church is just a Sunday church, I pray that God shut you down.
Okay.
Man, our church, and I'm not saying everybody's supposed to do that, but it is uncommon for some kind of activity that impacts our community to be going on at our church 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a teaching that's called the 7 Mountains, where I believe the church is supposed to impact politics, religion, family, economics, arts, entertainment, and education. So we're involved. Matter of fact, today I've almost had a meeting with every one of those 7 mountains today, because what the church has done is we've been competing. We've been competing over 2 snagger-tooth, non-tithe, and ain't gonna live right members, and we missed the opportunity to take authority in communities.
Yeah.
See, I consider myself a gatekeeper in Frazier. When things come to Frazier, I want to know what's your intention, what's your what's your commitment, how long are you going to be here? And I respect gatekeepers in other communities. One of my members has a son that has a problem in the Whitehaven community. Man, I didn't go to Whitehaven. I called Earl Fisher today, and anybody knows me and Earl Fisher are not the best of friends.
Yeah, that's true.
But I called Earl Fisher today because I respect his authority in that community. And I called Melvin Watkins. So I didn't have to go to Whitehaven. I called the people who have authority in Whitehaven and see if they can get some things done for me.
Well, listen, man, I got to run, but I'm really, well, you told me, but see, I respect you in your time. I know you have I think you have a meeting coming up, but listen, seriously, I really thank you for taking the time to come on this show, because if I know anything about you, you will tell it honestly and like it is, and the way things need to be. And the only way we're going to get over this hump is to do more listening and really focusing in on what the causes really are.
Hey, you said this is Chip, your boy, with the introduction. I want to argue with you. I want to say Chip the man. Chip the man. Thank you, man, for using your media influence to make the voice of visionaries and to change the life of people from being victims to victorious. I really appreciate you, brother. I
really appreciate you too, man. And we'll talk again soon. You take care, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Great conversation with Pastor Ricky Floyd. And he spoke a lot of truth about what's going on out there. We have a problem, but we don't need to be afraid to address it, and he surely is not. We're going to take our second break, and when we come back, we're going to shift gears and talk a little Hispanic Heritage Month with my friend Talia Palacio. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. Right back.
If you like real talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Onstage at the Halloran Center, presenting Tropical Fusion Latin Band September 29th. Tropical Fusion Latin Band is a live band based in Memphis, but with musicians from Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. For more information, visit orpheum-memphis.com.
WYXR is supported by Graceland Live, presenting the American Dream Pop duo Beach House, Monday, September 26th, to support their latest album, Once, Twice, Melody. More information at gracelandlive.com.
This is Clark Ortiz, co-founder at Crosstown Brewing Company. We are proud to be WYXR's official beer sponsor for 2022. Memphis music deserves Memphis beer. Working with the WYXR team has been an awesome way to support local community radio and foster a deeper connection with music while doing it. Our Instagram and Facebook pages feature all the updates regarding CBC and WYXR's frequent collaborations. Enjoy following along.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this beautiful but hot Monday evening in the city. Chip Washington with you. Glad to have you along with us. And I'm glad to have, I'll preface this by saying, she said during the break, she said, "You going to be nice?" And I said, well, I don't know. It depends on how we get into this segment. But she is my friend, and I've known her for a long time, and many of you have as well. Talia Palacio is visiting with us this evening. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Hola, Chipper. ¿Cómo estás?
Yeah. Oh, bien.
¿Cómo estás? Feliz mes de la herencia hispana.
See, that's what happens. See, you show off when you get in here. And my limited lack of Espanol. Hola. Oh, ha.
We've been around each other.
I know.
Where you could say, like, and you've been around the Hispanic community. Or you can say basic words.
I will not be ashamed. I can't say, well, yeah, I can say uno, dos, tres, and
you don't count.
Hola, and, blah, 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 blah. Adios. Yeah. So anyway, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you.
And, we are celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, and I wish you a happy Hispanic Heritage Month over the weekend.
Thank you.
It's a big deal.
It is.
It is. It's a very big deal, and I think that the city, I think more and more has embraced it because this is a very growing community. And talk a little bit about that, if you will.
So Hispanic Heritage Month, it is officially, it has started. It's September the 15th up till October the 15th.
Yeah.
And it's been around for about 50-something years. It started in 1968.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those opportunities where I know we get a month. We should celebrate it, just like Black History Month every day
of the year.
We live it, right?
That's true.
But at the same time, it's the anniversary and the celebration of some of the Latin American countries. They're celebrating their independence, like Mexico, Costa Rica. And along with that, we're celebrating the contributions of los Latinos en los Estados Unidos, in the United States. I speak Spanglish. You should be used to that.
I am.
My professors told me Spanglish is okay.
Spanglish is okay. That's fine. If they said it, then it works for me. So, what I am happy about, seriously, is the fact that the city and the county have embraced this. I mean, they understand that this is a very growing population of different segments, within the Hispanic or Latinx community, and a lot of other, groups mixed in there, Honduran and a lot of other folks. Talk a little bit about really how this mix of cultures, this multicultural exchange that we have here is really sort of changing the fabric of Memphis, because I believe it is.
I think it is too. I mean, I grew up here. When I came here, there weren't that many Latinos, and seeing how much the community has grown and changed. You know, looking at, I said this recently, looking at data and reading some articles, Memphis and the Mid-South, we're projected to be black and brown within the next 10 years. It's going to be predominantly Black or Latino.
When you read that, I mean, is that it doesn't sound like you're surprised. I mean, you know, you've been entrenched in the community for a long time. So
yeah, I grew up here, and I've seen the demographic shift, so I'm not surprised. It makes me very happy and proud just to see that the community is, you know, embracing diversity and it's growing. And looking at, you know, the Mid-South, the reason why the Mid-South is attractive is because we're not border states. So we're seeing the community of refugees, asylees, immigrants. That's growing.
It's terrible what's going on out here in this country.
It is. It's really unfortunate with what's going on in recent politics, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Well, yeah, you know, it is. But it's interesting that you say that, you know, we don't necessarily think on those terms because we're not a border state.
Right.
And people feel safe, I guess.
They feel a little safe. And then Memphis, with how we're embracing diversity and we have so many pockets of different communities living here, it brings a sense of comfort, especially to a newcomer, to know that there is someone here that speaks their language and embraces their culture. Like, for example, I'm sitting here, you know, visiting our friends here at WYXR, but I'm staring straight out. There are some tea light candles and lanterns out there. This weekend, like Crosstown, for example, had this autumn festival, and it was a celebration of some of our Vietnamese and Asian community here. So
you and I were talking on the phone.
We were, and the fact that like that was housed here at Crosstown, and I saw all the people and the music and the singing, it was more of like an aha moment. Like, wow, look at all the cultures that are representing here in the 901.
If you're just joining us, we are speaking with Talia Palacio. She is also a host of a radio show here at the WYXR Saturday nights from 8 to 9 o'clock. And what's the name of the show?
La Hora del Sazón con Talia.
Yeah, that's the name of the show. And you should check it out, because actually I listen to her show every now and again. And I think
dance?
Huh?
Do you dance?
Do I dance?
Yeah, to my music.
I listen to your show every now and again, and it's a very, very good show. It really is, because you mix the music, which I do like the music, and because I was in here once before with you live, but you also mix it with speaking with individuals in the community, talking about community events. You have a passion for young folks, and you know, and anytime they're doing something positive, that's always a positive for the rest of us.
I agree, and I like it. I like to say, well, they tell me that it's a variety show.
Well, it is.
Our bosses, they tell me it's a variety show, a mixture of music and talk.
Yeah.
And I like it just because, of course, I'm playing music from my upbringing or just some of my favorite songs lately. But at the same time, I'm bringing in guests and friends of the community that are making an impact and are, you know, creating these opportunities for multicultural students and families here in the South, in the Mid-South. So they get to talk about their experiences and share their expertise with our listeners. And coincidentally, for Hispanic Heritage Month, I do have a lineup of friends that are coming on. So like last Saturday, we interviewed the owner of Rumba Room. Yeah. And, you know, we think of Rumba Room like, oh, the club, the salsa club downtown. But then chatting with the owner, it gave a lot of perspective as to like why he started it and the fact that Rumba Room has been around Memphis for 15 years.
So it's a history lesson.
Yeah, it's a mini history lesson.
Yeah. So, you know, let's talk about some of the events that you're highlighting for this month, and some of the things that people should go to and support.
So we have quite a few things. Coincidentally, tomorrow, mañana, el 20, mañana. Good job. Mañana, the 20th of September. Yeah. There's going to be a multicultural expo at the Raleigh Library, and it's hosted by Socios Comunitarios, which is just an organization built from various organizations. So it's not quite like a nonprofit. It's just a group of people who are like-minded.
Okay.
Creating this opportunity.
Like-minded. Yeah. That's
so the Multicultural Expo is going to start at 11 o'clock at the Raleigh Library. And the premise for that is to educate our community and share various resources and the organizations that support multilingual students and families.
Very important.
So very important. So we'll have like refugee empowerment, world relief. We have I'll be there with Russ College, and some other schools and institutions will be there as well. There'll be, those that offer medical services. It's going to be a variety. So Mañana.
Okay, that's
Good
right.
job.
Thank you very much.
And then this weekend we have Latin Fest presented by Casa Teatro Bilingual Theater Group. And
that's a biggie, isn't it?
that is huge.
That's
They're
a big deal. Latin Fest,
I think they're in their 5th year, and they
Yeah.
have it at Overton Square. It's from 12 to 6.
That's gonna be.
You'll have food, dance, performances, a little bit of everything. So I think, that's a great opportunity to learn about the 21 Spanish-speaking countries, and you'll
that
get
are represented here.
that are represented here.
There are 21
Spanish-speaking countries total.
Represented here in Memphis.
Well, yes, because
Okay.
there are 21 Spanish-speaking countries total, but
Oh, okay,
there's
so
quite
you're
a
saying
few
that-
here in Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think we have representatives from all 21, or maybe close?
I do. Well, maybe 20.
That's a big deal.
Because,
Talia, that's a big deal.
It is. It's huge because number 21 is the Equatorial Guinea. And when I talk to our students, I think it's like the light bulb moment when they're like, there's a Spanish-speaking country in Africa. And I'm like, yeah, it's the Equatorial Guinea. Their official language is Espanol.
You've been in education. You're always teaching.
I'm always, right?
You're always
in and out of the classroom. It
teaching.
never stops.
It never stops.
And, we have quite a few things going on around town. What I always like to tell people is to ask and learn. Like, there's no right or wrong answer. Just ask and learn.
Ask the question.
Yeah.
Ask the
See how
question.
you can get involved in the community to learn about all the ways you can celebrate Hispanic heritage. Or if you have friends that are of Spanish-speaking backgrounds, ask them about their background and their heritage. Like, that's step one.
I'm sure they won't be afraid to tell you.
They definitely won't. But it depends on how they ask, too.
Okay. Well,
That's another conversation.
That's another conversation. That's like the third time that we have to have another conversation about this conversation that we're having now. But that's okay. That's how you and I roll anyway. And just to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, we don't argue. We have a banter. Talia and I have a banter with each other, and she gives as good as she gets. I can tell you that right now. She's tough, but anyway,
No, I'm not.
that's what.
I'm,
She is. She's tough.
No.
So anyway, listen. I gotta go, but I will tell you this. I'm glad you came because, and you always give us seriously a history lesson of what is going on here, and not only that, you're inviting everyone to be a part of this big tribe.
Yes. Come to the tribe, come to the village. There's nothing more beautiful than experiencing different cultures and interacting with people of different backgrounds. That's what makes us Memphis. That's what makes us who we are, right?
That's exactly right. I appreciate that, and I thank you for taking time. I know how busy you are to come by here and visit with us. I very rarely have visitors here. I don't even like a lot of folks around.
I feel so special. I'm a part of your team.
Yes,
I'm
you are.
here in person today.
Yeah, she is in studio. If you're watching Facebook Live, you can see her out there. And but in any event, thank you for coming. We look forward to some good times, events coming up. You and I'm sure will get together in some iteration between now and the end of the year. I just
we do. We have a lot of stuff coming up here. October the 5th from 5 to 7. We're celebrating our 2nd birthday together at WYXR.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2 years here.
2 years.
2 years. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Feliz cumpleaños, Chip. And Real Talk, feliz cumpleaños.
Yay! I heard real talk in there. That's a good thing. I like that. That's good. Thank you, Talia.
Thank you. Gracias, Chip.
So we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to a county commissioner about why she decided to run and what we are going to expect from her as time moves along. This is Real Talk Memphis. I'm Chip. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Support for WYXR comes from Focal Point. Located in Crosstown Concourse, Focal Point is a Southern College of Optometry clinical facility that offers fittings with designer eyewear and eco-friendly frames. Learn more at focalpointcrosstown.com.
Minfo Music Festival returns to Radiance Amphitheater at Memphis Botanic Garden on September 30th through October 2nd. This year's fest features the excitement of the Black Keys, Widespread Panic, Wilco, Jason Isbell, Portugal the Man, Tank and the Bangers, Bobby Rush, and many more. Visit MinfoFest.com for ticket packages, lineup information, FAQs, and more. That's MinfoFest.com. You a fan of the sound? Be sure to block your calendar for December 3rd when we'll be throwing WYXR's inaugural music festival. From the airwaves to the stage, Raised by Sound Fest is a free day-long event showcasing local and regional talent. Come out to enjoy free live performances from 1 to 7 p.m. at Crosstown Brewing Company and the Crosstown Central Atrium, along with a day full of DJ sets from your favorite WYXR DJs. At night, stick around for ticketed events in Crosstown Theater and at the Green Room at Crosstown Arts from 7 to 11 p.m. We'll be announcing the full lineup soon, so stay tuned. If you want to be the first to know all the details, sign up for email updates at raisedbysoundfest.com.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to the big broadcast on this Monday evening. Chip with you. My Facebook Live roll call, Sarah Gum is checking us out as is Bishop Charles Rogers. Bishop Rogers, good to see you. Marcus Friday, my rodeo friend, is checking us out tonight. Audrey Hill, Jet Lucas. You know, Jet, I've known Jet for a long time. He's a radio guy in this town who helped me out quite a bit. And I'm glad he found some time to checking us out this evening. He really enjoyed the conversation with Pastor Floyd, by the way. And my friend Michael Harris. And if I didn't catch you, that's because I don't see you, but I know you're there. And I also know my next guest is here. She actually is a repeat guest on this broadcast. Last time I talked to her, we were collecting change for our Orange Mound community out there. And I'd like to welcome to the show Canal County Commissioner Britney Thornton, District 10. And Britney, good to see you again.
Yeah, you reminded me. That's been so long ago.
See, you know what? You're supposed to, when you have these memorable moments, beside being, elected to office, Real Talk Memphis should be one of those things that should be locked in there. But I digress. Anyway, it's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So, congratulations on your election. Am I correct in the fact that you are the youngest commissioner on the board?
Yeah, for sure. And the youngest female in the history of Shelby County.
Youngest female in the history of Shelby County. Well, congratulations on that, too. So, let's back up a little bit. At what particular point did you decide, you know what, I think I should run for office because I think I can really make a difference in this county?
Yeah, for those that can remember, in 2019, I ran for city council. Mm-hmm. And so that was my emergence into politics here locally. And I worked really closely with Commissioner Milton over the course of my years of being an organizer. So I feel like he's like the role model of like what strong relationships with like young adult talent looks like. And so I really appreciated his support and just decided that when the position was made available that I would run for it.
Well, you did, and you won, and this is of course a kind of a history-setting, county commission board with the most females ever elected to the board in the history of the county commission, most black females, and I think it's mostly Democratic, and it's been some time since it's been that way as well. Do you think that? Well, let me just ask you what your thought is on everything I just said. These are all big changes, and these are all things that have never happened before in the history of the county commission. What do you attribute all of this to?
If you look at our city council, there's some pretty similar dynamics. I'm pretty sure on city council, don't we have 5 Black women?
I think so, but never on the county commission. This is the county commission, so this is a different deal. And I mean, you all have, it's a fine august body. But seriously, I mean, in terms of the landscape of what we're looking at now, what do you all? I'm sure you all have had conversations about all of this. What do you all attribute this a change in county government to?
Yeah, well, redistricting through kind of a wrench, and it required a lot of organizing. There were some really close races, particularly for Democrats in Commissioner Avent's and Commissioner Whaley's seat.
Yes.
So I know that Commissioner Avent, she fought really hard for her position. And so, I mean, it's been an intentional process of getting Democrats in place. And then, seeing this rise of Black women leaders, it's just been a really nice turnout. And I think that, Black women are turning out in mass, and we're a large voter block. So it just makes sense that we would have a lot of Black female leaders.
If you're just joining us, we are speaking with District 10 County Commissioner Britney Thornton. And now that you are in and you've been sworn in and you're in the seat, what are some of your priorities moving forward? Your in particular, what do you want to work on, and some of the things that you want to see changed?
Yeah, my eyes are focused on housing, transit, and economic development. That's what I want to focus on over these next 4 years. I guess right now the stage we're in is just really organizing. So District 10 is the south side of Memphis. So we're talking about Hamilton High to Graceland, and then South Memphis out to Cherry Road, really including that Getwell corridor, and then the Coliseum over to the FedEx hub.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll orient some folks to where we are. So we're talking about a lot of communities that we know and love, and a lot of disinvestment. So our neighborhoods are not organized. So I'm going to start there as an organizer, so we can figure out who the people are that I will be representing, and make sure that they have channels to reach me. And I'm just excited. We've announced this Shine Blight campaign.
Talk about that. Yeah, I heard about that. Talk about that.
Yeah. So unfortunately, some of the contributing factors to Eliza Fletcher's story was blight. You talk about an abandoned house, overgrown grass being a contributing factor to her body being able to just be left in South Memphis. And so in response to that, and just really just seeing the narrative around South Memphis skew towards negative, I was like, there's something that needs to be done. And so my uncle called me. He's like, it's time for you to lead. And so some ideas that I had just been mulling over, it just felt like the time was right to be able to step out. And so we're shining blight all across District 10, which just basically is us scaling up a project that we did in Orange Mound called Mow the Mound. So we're going to work with local service providers to identify lots and get those lots cut, and then we'll sit back and we'll count our successes and figure out what our next steps will be. And now blight is a very, very big issue here. I mean, it has been for a long time, and I did know that there has been kind of an increased spotlight on blight in some of these communities, and getting them cleaned up and getting them sort of reset and reestablished again. In all of the areas that you mentioned that you are now representing, is the OM part of that, Orange Mound? Of course.
I just thought I'd ask. I figured as much, but I just thought I'd ask, because I know that's really where your heart is. But I mean, I think the whole effort on trying to improve housing, I think you mentioned that as well, and just a better station of life for so many people. This is really not an impossibility, is it? This is really something that can be done if folks pull together and galvanize. And I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. Personally, I wouldn't have stepped out if I didn't think it was something that was winnable. For me as an organizer, I've seen the Mow the Mound project in Orange Mound was my most favorite project that we did with Juice Orange Mound.
Yeah.
And so I've seen it come together. Once you have, all it takes is just right now, there's actually, through your audience, there's a website called WeAreDistrict10.com. And I encourage people to go visit there and just sign up. You have 4 different categories to plug into this effort. You can be a volunteer, you can be a service provider, you can be a current resident, or you can be a donor. So we're doing this whole operation independent of government. So that means that we have to crowdfund our funds to be able to pay our local service providers. But your support of this project will allow us to be able to identify people who are locally in this long service business and then get them business, promote their businesses, and then work with current residents who feel empowered that they were able to identify properties near them that were addressed within a time frame. So we're doing this within 3 months. So by December, everybody can tune in just to hear, how did that Shine Blight thing go? You know, like we will report out and show our findings. And then hopefully this will become an annual event over these next 4 years that we pick up. It's the last cut of the season, so it'll have a lasting impact. So every piece of it, like literally when I was like just spending like hours just like hashing it out,
sure.
It's a very smart goal that we have. So it's a time bound period, 3 months. We'll figure out what we got going on. So whoever, you know, is staying next to some blight that you've been really, really annoyed with. When we did an orange mound, there was grass that was taller than me that we cut.
Wow.
And it was a really great project.
Well, we may check back with you in a few months to see how successful this effort is that you are launching. But listen, thank you for coming on the show tonight. It was good. It's good to see you, and I was really happy when you won the seat, because I know that at your heart you are an organizer, and I know that's your passion, and I know that with your voice on the county commission, there's going to be a lot more collaboration and organization involved in all of this. That's the only way we can get things done. So very proud of you, very proud of your efforts, and anytime you have an initiative or anything you want to share with the Real Talk audience, you're always welcome back.
You're awesome. Thank you. I appreciate everybody.
Have a great night. Take care. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up another edition of Real Talk Memphis. Another great show tonight. Lots of good information, and great guest tonight sharing with us. There is potential in this city. All we need to do is stop working against each other and working with each other and trying to support everything that we do, in this town. I mean, we're not lost. We hear stories about the violence and a lot of the other things that go on in this city that may not be the positives. But, our children are not lost causes. I mean, they are our future, and we need to support them, and we need to encourage them. And instead of talking about them in a negative way, we need to support them in a positive way. And I think if all of us get together and make that a commitment, I think at the end of the day, we'll make each other better, and we'll be more accountable as adults as well. We need to listen more, and we need to talk less. And as Lola plays us out, very, very appreciative for you as an audience. You folks on Facebook Live, I really appreciate you. I see you down there, and you hang with us for the entire show, most of you, and I appreciate that. I would ask one favor: if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, if you enjoy the content of this show, go out and tell somebody. We can't grow without you. And so I lean on all of you to support what we're trying to do here, what we're going to continue to do here, and as we continue to grow. So tell folks everything that you can about Real Talk Memphis. So for Nicole, for Lola, and for Sel, I'm Chip. We're out. Have a great week. Be safe, and we'll talk soon. Hello. How you doing?